Have you ever wondered how long you could survive without water? Well, let's talk about it. Water plays a crucial role in our survival. Every cell, tissue, and organ in your body depends on water to function correctly. It's like the oil in an engine, lubricating all the moving parts. Without water, our bodies can't regulate temperature, transport nutrients, or even flush out waste. We start to dehydrate, leading to dizziness, confusion, and eventually, organ failure. It's a grim picture, isn't it? But it's vital to understand this. There's a general rule of thumb in survival situations. You can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Now, these are just estimates and can vary based on individual health, weather conditions, and physical exertion. But they underscore the point that water isn't just a luxury. So it is clear water is not just essential, it is life. Let's dive into how we can ensure we have clean water in case of an emergency. When disaster strikes, your access to clean water might be limited. So how can we prepare? You see, planning your water storage is not just about filling up bottles and plopping them in the cellar. There's a science to it, a simple one, but a science nonetheless. One of the key factors to consider is the recommended amount of water to store per person per day. The general consensus, 1 gallon. Yes, you heard it right, just a humble gallon. Now you might be thinking, a gallon, that's a lot of water. Well, keep in mind, this isn't just for drinking. We're talking about all your water needs. Cooking, cleaning, and personal hygiene. All these things are crucial for your health and well-being, especially in an emergency situation. But let's not stop there. Planning your water storage is a multifaceted task. You need to account for the number of people in your household. Let's say you're a family of 4. That means you need to store 4 gallons of water per day. Suddenly that 1 gallon doesn't seem like a lot, does it? Here's another factor to consider. The duration of the emergency. You should plan for at least 3 days. But in reality, having a week's worth of water is a safer bet. So, for a family of 4, you're looking at storing 28 gallons of water for a week. Oh, and let's not forget about our furry friends. If you have pets, they'll need water too. And what about special needs? Maybe someone in your household requires additional water for medical reasons. These are all factors to consider when planning your water storage. So, what's the takeaway? Well, it's simple. Proper planning for water storage is crucial. It's not just about survival, it's about maintaining a semblance of normality in a challenging situation. Yes, it may seem daunting at first, but remember, failing to plan is planning to fail. Proper planning of water storage can be the difference between discomfort and danger. So, let's get planning, shall we? Now that we know how much water we need, how do we store it safely? To begin with, let's talk about the types of containers suitable for water storage. There are many options available, but the most efficient ones are food-grade water storage containers. These are designed specifically to safely store water and are available in various sizes. From small portable containers for personal use to large barrels capable of storing hundreds of gallons of water. However, any clean food-safe plastic or glass container will work. This includes juice bottles, soda bottles, and even clean milk jugs. But be aware, containers that have previously held milk or fruit juice should not be used for long-term storage due to the risk of bacterial growth. Also, avoid containers that previously stored non-food items as they can contaminate the water. Before you fill your containers with water, it's essential to clean and sterilize them properly. Here's a simple method. First, wash the container and its lid with dish soap and warm water. Then, rinse thoroughly to remove any soap residue. For added safety, consider sanitizing the container by swishing around a solution of 1 teaspoon of non-scented liquid household chlorine bleach to 1 quart of water. Make sure to rinse well with clean water after sanitizing. Once your containers are clean and ready, fill them with water. If you're using tap water in an area with a treated water supply, you don't need to add anything else. The chlorine in the water will keep it safe for around 6 months. So, where do we store all this water? Ideally, you want to keep your water in a cool, dark place away from chemicals and direct sunlight. Both can degrade the plastic over time and affect the water's taste and safety. Water is heavy, so be mindful of the weight load on your shelves or floor. It's also a good idea to store water in different locations in case one area becomes inaccessible. Remember, safe water storage is a crucial step in disaster preparedness. It's not just about having water, but having water that is safe to drink. So, take the time to store it properly, and you'll have one less thing to worry about when disaster strikes. What if you run out of stored water or you find yourself in a situation without access to clean water? Well, that's where water purification techniques come into play. These are methods you can use to transform dirty, potentially dangerous water into potable water that's safe to drink. And today we're going to explore 4 of these techniques. boiling, chemical treatment, filtration, and distillation. Let's kick things off with boiling. This is one of the simplest and most reliable methods of water purification. All you need is a heat source and a container to hold the water. Bring the water to a rolling boil and keep it boiling for at least 1 minute. This should kill most types of disease-causing organisms. The downside: boiling won't remove chemical pollutants or improve the taste of the water. Next up, we have chemical treatment. This involves using chemicals, typically iodine or chlorine, to kill bacteria and viruses in the water. It's an easy method to use, especially if you're on the move, but it does have a few drawbacks. For starters, these chemicals can leave an unpleasant taste in the water. Plus, they're not effective against all types of pathogens, especially certain parasites. Our third technique is filtration. This is a great method for removing both biological and chemical contaminants from water. There are many different types of water filters available, from small portable ones to larger systems for home use. The main advantage of filtration is its effectiveness against a wide range of contaminants. However, filters can be expensive, and they require regular maintenance to keep them working properly. Finally, we have distillation. This involves heating water until it turns into steam, and then condensing that steam back into liquid water. Distillation is highly effective at removing both biological and chemical contaminants. But it's a slow process and requires a lot of energy, which may not always be available in a survival situation. Each of these water purification techniques has its pros and cons, so it's important to choose the method that best suits your situation. You might even want to combine methods for added protection. For example, you could filter your water first, then boil it to make sure it's safe to drink. Remember, water is life. Without it, we can't survive for more than a few days. That's why knowing how to purify water is such a crucial skill. Whether you're planning for a disaster or find yourself in the midst of one, these techniques could mean the difference between life and death. Being able to purify water is a valuable skill that can save your life in a disaster situation. So take the time to learn and practice these methods. They could be your lifeline when you need it most. Let's quickly revisit the essential points we've covered today. Water is the lifeblood of survival. It's not just about quenching thirst, but also maintaining our body's vital functions. Without it, our chances of surviving in a disaster scenario are slim to none. Planning for water storage is critical. It's paramount to estimate a gallon per person per day for drinking and hygiene purposes. A 3-day supply is a good starting point, but a 2-week supply is ideal for a more comprehensive plan. And don't forget, if you have pets, they need water too. Storing water safely is equally important. Always use food-grade water containers and avoid containers that have previously held harmful chemicals. Store your water in a cool, dark place to prevent the growth of algae and bacteria. Regularly check stored water for clarity and odor, and replace it every 6 months to ensure its freshness. Purification techniques come into play when you've exhausted your stored water, or when you're sourcing from an uncertain supply. Boiling is the simplest and safest method, killing most types of pathogens. Chemical treatments, like using chlorine or iodine, are also effective but should be used sparingly. Water filters and purifiers are great investments, offering portable and convenient solutions for obtaining clean water. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about water storage and purification, the better equipped you'll be when disaster strikes. It's about preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. Remember, being prepared is the first step to surviving any disaster. If you found this information helpful, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of our future videos. Stay safe and be ready with Disaster Ready 101.